Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel. This is a lovely wee show we have this evening. We're going to have a little bit of a debate tonight. Is it time for FSG to leave Liverpool? Well, we will be having a big debate. We'll be discussing things of what they have done bad and what things they have done good as well. And the cavalry have come in this evening. Joining me, we have Mr. Connor Niblett from the Cup Council. How are you, Connor?
I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. Looking forward to having a rant about FSG, and can't wait for tonight's show anyway. But yeah, thank you for having me on.
The David Attenborough podcasting is with us once again. Mr. Owen Thomas, how are you, Owen?
Better than Klopp when he had those transfer questions today. Thank you very much. Yes, no, I'm doing very well. You know, getting on with life in my new town south of Paris, about 40 minutes by train. It's lovely and tranquil here. Nothing to complain about. Thank you.
Nice. By the way, there is an early goal in the Aston Villa Leeds game. Aston Villa have just taken the lead. Leon Bailey has scored for Aston Villa. That's after 5 minutes as well, so that's a very early goal for Villa. So they lead 1-0. As well, joining us once again is Mr. Jack McIndoe, Anfield Road TV. How are you, Jack?
Not too bad, mate. As Owen alluded to, the comments today, which we'll very much dive deep into today, made from Jurgen Klopp. Been battling a load of Manx, Everton fans, bit of everyone really, and listening to quite a lot of very well-balanced views in the comment section below on the video we released on TikTok today, mate. It's just a frustration in reality, mate. From every single Liverpool fan, which will very much do brief. But massive thank you for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
No, not a problem. Not a problem at all. We have Spider LSE again. How are you, Spider?
How's it going, lads? I feel like you're man in the Brady bunch at the moment where I look this way, I look that way, and everybody's around me. I feel like a team two is going to come out any second. But what a lineup we have tonight. Yeah, this is good. This is going to be great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, it's my absolute pleasure. And I'm delighted to have my sort of sidekick of the Statman Stubbs prediction show, Mr. Statman Stubbs. How are you, Steve?
Yeah, all good. It's nice to be able to come on and obviously spend a bit of time with all the lads as well. So, no, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to getting straight and stuck into this. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this as well. Making his debut on the channel, we have Alan. How are you, Alan?
Hi, Doug. Hi, lads. Pleasure to be on with you there. As I said to you before we started, Doug, I'll try not to lose you too many subscriptions tonight.
Nah, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. I'm delighted to have you on. Delighted to have you on the channel. And last but not least, we have Mr. Ricky Weed from the 1892 Reds TV. How are you, Ricky?
Not too bad. Fighting off them top Reds in my DMs the last couple of days since me and Luke did that FSG Out video. I've had a few DMs coming. A few DMs coming from the top Reds, but it's all fun and games, isn't it?
Yes. But no, we are going to have a very, very good debate show, I think, tonight. Good evening to Glasgow Red TV. John, hope you are well, mate. Big up John Conway as well. Shane O'Donnell says, good evening. Napoli are 1-0 up against Juventus. Wow, that is a top of the table clash. I didn't realise Juventus has actually done really well recently, but they actually have. And we do have one more guest. Mr. Jersey Boy is here. How are you, Jersey Boy?
I'm doing fine. How are you? I've been gone for a while, but it's good to be back.
No, it's good to have you on as well. Good evening, Just Hannah as well, and everyone is saying hello to everybody else as well. So, cast your minds back to the 15th of October 2010. Yes, we had just been beaten 2-1 by Blackpool. I'm sorry to bring that up. We were minutes away, potentially going out of business. But thankfully, FSG bought us for £300 million. Connor, what was your reaction at that time?
Thank God that the two idiots are gone. I think that's the best reaction. No, but obviously when the news, I think when everything finally settled from FSG buying the club, and we knew how bad it was after with Hicks and Gillette, then I think everyone was like, oh crap, like how bad like Liverpool were financially. And you know, to give credit to FSG in some sense, of course they did save us in many regards. You know, when you look back at the purchase now of what 300 million, you know, it's pocket change compared to what we're evaluated now. But again, you know, they saved the club from Hicks and Gillette, and even though tonight we're most likely going to speak negatively in some aspects towards FSG, but I think obviously some positives do have to be enlightened as well, in the fact that they have done, you know, they have rebuilt the club into like this mega, I wouldn't say mega star club because we was a mega star club before it, but you know, financially we are there, if you get what I mean, in terms of valuation.
Yeah, 100%. And Owen, it's actually a well-known fact that actually FSG had a little bit of a stake in Fulham Football Club before they bought Liverpool.
Sorry, I've got a few connection problems. Who had a stake in Fulham Football Club?
FSG.
Did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay. But you know, I remember when they took over, and I mean, I remember getting into a debate with someone online and in the forums back in the day who was convinced that they didn't want any more Americans at the club. And I thought that was a very silly attitude because there are 400 million Americans and they can't all be bad, despite what you are led to believe. And lo and behold, they were pretty good. You know, if we look back at the bigger picture.
I think we may have potentially lost Owen there just for a minute, but
FSG connection issues that were. The signals.
Yeah. Well, we will let Owen be frozen there for a wee minute. I'm sure he'll be back there in a minute. But Jack, what was your reaction at the time? Obviously, being sort of like a Scouser and knowing that we were potentially minutes away from going out of business.
What do you mean? I put this accent on, as everyone says on social media. So, I should take them on a guided tour to Anfield. It literally took me 10 minutes. It's there's a lot to allude to. I think the predicament Liverpool Football Club were in at that time, the fact that we left, it was difficult. Obviously, we all remember the European nights. Rafa took us on the good journeys, the great memories that we had with Rafa, and it was a very similar position with Rafa. I think when you look at his time, if we had a bit more ambition as a football club or more financials in certain seasons, obviously the challenge in that year, as we all remember, obviously the Senegal, that season where the Senegal gets 2 goals in the space of a week, we ran Manchester United very close in that season. And then the following season, which is very similar to this year, where Liverpool have failed to very much materialise, especially considering how much of a drop-off Manchester City have had this year, mate. But I don't buy into the illusion that Liverpool were going to go out of admission, because in all reality, 300 million, there was at that time period as well, 2010, there's a lot of wealthy billionaires or millionaires back then anyway. It would have been a massive asset to have Liverpool on your portfolio. And that's probably why FSG took us over. I don't think it was only just FSG, but I think FSG very much struck gold in reality. And we'll speak about how well they've dealt with Liverpool in terms of building the brand, making it into a 4 billion valued, a 4 billion company. So from a business strategic point of view, it's very good business from them. And happy days.
Yeah. Alan, how did you feel at the time that FSG took us over?
A mix. I was relieved, obviously, like all of us were. I must admit, I was a bit scared of the American owners after the last two. But as don't know, I'm probably looking at you guys, I'm probably the oldest on here. I'm supporting Liverpool since I was 7 years of age in 1977. So I've great admiration for FSG because I never thought I would see Liverpool win the Premier League again. So I have a big place in my heart for them for coming in and saving us. But I was a bit worried at the time, but thank God there was only one pair of Gillette and Hicks.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything to say to them, Statman. I mean, Hicks and Gillette are, well, they're probably most remembered for almost sort of seeing the club go out of potential. Well, they basically nearly go into administration. I mean, that's how big it was at the time.
Yeah, no, you're right. And there was that sort of anxiety, especially once we got rid of two absolute idiots and the previous American owners to get some more Americans in. I was a bit anxious of how they would do, to be honest. But you are right; they have done some decent things for the club. They haven't really spent. They've only spent the money that we've obviously reinvested or made from sales. Sorry, so. But obviously, we've got new training facilities, which that has to take into account. Obviously, building the stadium. Whether or not that came out of their own pocket or that's through loans, etc. No, I don't know myself. But obviously, yes, they've saved the club from going out of business completely. So we've got to give them credit for that. But it's like what you say. If you can't afford a house, you sell to someone who's got the money, who can obviously reinvest in the property. So that's the best thing I could really say about that. It's just that. I think now they bought the club for 300 million, potentially going to sell it for 3.5 billion. That's a hell of a profit. You might as well try and reinvest it. Maybe they can go and reinvest it in another American baseball club or something like that. But I mean, if the owners can't see that we need investment in that squad, I mean, look at it. Thiago, 31, Hendo, 31, coming on 32, Milner, 37. It's an aging midfield. We've only signed one midfielder in 9 transfer windows, which says it all, really. And they're running on empty now. And I mean, yes, they deserve credit for obviously saving the club, definitely building the infrastructure, new training facilities, obviously expanding the stadium. But that's where it really sort of stops for me. They need to reinvest in the squad, and it's just something that they're not prepared to do. So previous transfer windows, when you go about Quebec and what was it, Ben Davies? Last January transfer window. That says it all for me. It's diabolical, to be honest.
Do not get me started on that transfer window. Spider. I mean, FSG will probably be sort of remembered for a lot of good things, but they have had their sort of bad things. So, what was your reaction at the time that they took us over?
Well, for me, we were in a dire place. We had, as you said, them two idiots running the club. And for me, it was to the point where it was not even about the money, about the administration situation for Liverpool Football Club. It's just that the lack of disrespect or the lack of respect from Hicks and Gillette at the time, because they made it their own personal battleground. They hated each other. After going into business together, they were using the club, any other assets that they had, as a means to get at each other. There was nothing whatsoever, as in caring wise about what the fans thought, about what was going to happen to the club. To them, it was just a write-off that their insurance companies would probably cover over, or anything else would probably cover over, and they just wanted to get one over on each other at the end. So, I'm very, very thankful for FSG for coming in that time. John Henry and all the guys, they were astute. I mean, they were interviewed by everybody at the time to come in. I think DIC were supposed to be one of the crowd that were interviewed as well about taking over the club. But they went with John W. Henry, and the one thing I'll say about FSG at the time is that they've learned as much as we have when they've come into the club, because with some of the things that they did, like raising ticket prices, or they talk about furloughed fans and stuff like that. I'm not too sure how true that was, or was that just hearsay?
Yeah, no.
But we do. It was definitely, okay.
Yeah, furloughed. Yeah,
so, But mainly because, you know, the mistakes that they did make prior to that business wise, you know, they've come out compared to other owners or compared to what Hicks and Gillette have done. They've come out and they've apologized publicly in front of a camera for the mistakes that they've made, because they didn't realize the actual impact it would have on the morality of the fans, really. So
great acting though.
But they did it. You know what, they did it. The Glazers haven't done it for. They didn't do it for United.
Get the flowers out.
Yeah. So look, I'm thankful for what they did to come in and stabilize the club, and I'm thankful that what they did for coming in and stabilizing the club, for making us a financial powerhouse again in you know, just so to speak. And but yeah, I'm on the boat that's kind of turned in the last season or so, because I can see now that they don't want to reinvest their own money into the club. They only reinvest in whatever extra profits, or if somebody else has invested something in that they can spend without touching their own pocket. And for me, that's a sign of, okay, they don't want to be here anymore. They want heavy investment to invest in the club, but they still want to keep their stake. So, you know, the tables have turned for me small, but I'm thankful for what they've done for the club up to date. But it's at the point now where they can't take us any higher. So.
I think everyone is probably in agreement, and especially Ricky. What are your thoughts on FSG?
What, when they first come in, or in general? So when they first come in, probably I ain't gonna lie, I'm grateful that someone's come in, but I'm not having this gibberish that they saved the club. A club of Liverpool's size was never going to go bankrupt. It was never going to go under. It was never going to disappear. It was never going to turn into one of these Mickey Mouse teams that get reinvented and put in the lower leagues. It was never going to go down that route. There's too many rich people on the planet with a lot of money that could have bought Liverpool Football Club at that time, and probably did bid for Liverpool at that time. And obviously FSG were the preferred bidders at the time. They've done some good things for the club. I'm not going to say they've been great owners, because they haven't. They've been good owners. They've obviously built the stands. Well, you say built the stands. They've used Liverpool Football Club money to expand the stadiums. Training grounds got nothing to do with FSG. It was built and paid for by AXA, so it's got nothing to do with FSG there. They tried to furlough staff. That people's the way of living was put under pressure from FSG in terms of putting people on furlough. They also spearheaded the Super League with big teams around Europe and some of the big teams over here. And all we got was a 2-minute poxy apology after he did all of that on some booky camera. Didn't reinvest in the squad after that. People say, the Glazers never apologised, the Cronkies never apologised, Roman Abramovich never apologised, Daniel Levy never apologised. They all reinvested and give their managers money to go get players into the squad as a way to say sorry to the fans. Here's some fresh new players. We didn't do that. We got a 2-minute rehearsed apology. It looked like he was reading off a teleprompter anyway. For me, it's time to go. They treat this club like a bottom 15 club in terms of finances. I'm seeing Wolves are on the verge of buying 5 midfielders for this January and the summer coming up. We've bought 1 midfielder in the last 4.5 years. It's shambolic. It's embarrassing.
We're financing that, Ricky, though, off that one midfielder.
I've got the 1 midfielder we didn't take last summer that we're going to go and get this summer coming, apparently, and give them 6 million more than what they paid for. Liverpool Football Club is shambolic, it's embarrassing, and it needs change. It needs big investment, or we're just going to fall behind even further, because you see now, I think if results go the way they're going to go this weekend, we could be 13th. We won the league a couple of seasons ago. It's embarrassing. They need to go now.
But as we obviously said, 2010, that was dark years of Liverpool, and obviously we're under Roy Hodgson. So what I want to ask everyone is everyone on the panel FSG out, or are you FSG in, or are you on the fence? So just say if you're FSG out or FSG in.
I'm on the fence.
I'm
on
out.
the fence.
I'm
can
out.
explain why after, but
FSG out.
Out for me.
Come with Jack.
Interest.
Oh, Christ, I've been shouting for the last 2 minutes. I was on mute. Of course I am. I was saying, Connor, you start so we can go in order and go round the room. And just back Klopp. Back Klopp. Like, that's all I want. I want Jurgen Klopp. FSG didn't get us to win the Champions League and the Premier League. It was Jurgen bloody Norbert Klopp that got the players in. He got the best people in charge. Well, the last couple of years, got the best throwing coach, the best. I was going to say medical department, but Christ,
and medical department.
I had to stop myself there.
That's an old myth, that is.
For about 3 years.
Yeah. But it's just, I'm FSG, give Jurgen Klopp the financial back.
I mean, we'll obviously talk about like some of the things that they've obviously done, some of the things that like have been sort of good as well. But I think, Connor, what they'll be most probably remembered for is the Super League. I think that's when probably everyone sort of started to see, they're only here for the money.
It was basically American owners, wasn't it? And it's I think someone mentioned earlier on, what would their next adventure be? I think the conversation's already been talked about the NFL. And I'm not an American football fan, don't get me wrong, but I think the American owners get taken care of massively in the NFL. And I think that will be their next big adventure. If they do go for it, I make it sound like a Joel Matip run. When I say like
basketball.
Is it basketball?
Yeah, they're going to basketball with LeBron.
Well, it's either way. It's like that is because I think what didn't help neither was the fact that they wasn't the first people to leave. They were one of the last, without it being Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus. And I think with that, obviously, it caused a massive amount of pressure. And like everyone, and like Jack said, it's all we want is Jurgen Klopp being back. We've got one of the best managers to ever be graced with our football club.
In my lifetime, yours.
He's Liverpool's best ever manager in my lifetime. Obviously, you've got Bob Paisley, Bill Shankly, up there. Jurgen Klopp's up that, in that category, and he's managed to fight Pep Guardiola with one hand tied behind his back, season after season after season. And all right, we're not saying, look, give us 500 million each and every single summer, because again, that's not what we'd want. It's just when we can see a clear and obvious problem, like the midfield has been the clear and obvious problem, give him a bit of backing and just give him the necessary tools that he wants. And that's the factor, I think, where everyone is getting that frustrated now, that we're just like, oh, just please someone come in. But the way they structure a football club, it's like what Ricky said, if we're like what we was 2010, 2011, 2013, and that, slowly building up into a club that was challenging thereabouts, or getting into the top four regularly. Now we're fighting for Premier Leagues we was fighting for Premier Leagues each and every single season. And that's where you've got the likes of, Chelsea spending, 300 million a summer, City spending it when they need it, and so forth. Liverpool, look at this, the summer just gone. We bought Darwin Núñez, and then we're trying to recuperate the money that was bought on Darwin Núñez for the biggest amount of the season, summer. Sorry. So that's the thing where we shouldn't have to, sell the likes of Taki and Divock Origi, because losing them two has hurt Liverpool this season in terms of squad depth. And now having Gakpo helps a little bit, but it's the fact that we're now just a little bit, the squad is lacking depth in quality. And now we're suffering from that.
But can I just ask Connor a question, or is everyone in the...
Yeah, go ahead,
No.
Do you think, Connor, that is probably the issue, though? If Liverpool are, as a model, a sell to buy, in reality, did Liverpool miss a trick? As much as we heavily dislike it, should we have sold, not that I personally wouldn't, but the model Liverpool have been over the last 5-10 year period. We sold Coutinho to finance Van Dijk and Alisson. Did we miss a trick in letting Mane's contract massively run down, or Mohamed Salah? Obviously, we've protected Salah's valuation as a player because we've got him on a big contract now. But if Liverpool are in that ballpark of sell to buy, which we are, in all honesty, because you look at Taki Minamino, sold him, sold Brewster, sold's got Origi off the wage bill as well. So I don't know.
I think it's the necessary thing of, can we afford to replace them? So is there a player out there that matches the stats and the statistic analysis of it? If it is, then yes, I think we would sell. Like with Mane, though, it was he wanted to go. He wanted a new challenge, wasn't it? And I think if there is someone out there that matches Mohamed Salah's stats and statistics, even this season, and Liverpool look at it, I think Liverpool might sell Mo and then look at the next person. But
that's the way I look at it. Like,
we never had the option.
Doing that. Yeah, if we're not selling the players, then we're not going to have that revenue coming in. For me,
yeah, no, I'd agree.
That is my main worry. Alan, you were nodding when I said the Super League. Were you FSG out when the Super League potentially happened?
Oh, I think you're on mute there, La.
Oh.
Your mic's
you're on mute
working.
there, Alan, if you can hear me. Just as a D. He's on.
Sorry, can you hear me now, lads?
Yeah.
Hear you now, yeah.
Amateur, sorry. Yeah, no, that was the day that I my opinion changed on them. That's the day that I realised they weren't here to stay. Before that, even just before that, we had the Redbird Capital money investment. We've never seen anything from it. We had Nike deal. We never seen anything from it. The lads arrive with an investment in the stadium, but to me, that's all investment to sell. Like you do in your own house, you keep it up, you make it better, you sell it for more money. And just like Jack said there, but we were so lucky, and FSG are so lucky to have Klopp. But my fear over the last year is that we're going to lose Klopp because of money. What could Klopp do with money? And I don't mean, spending 300 million a year. But I think when I grew up looking at the Liverpool teams over the decades, you always buy when you're strong. You don't wait till your midfield is gone. You don't wait till Salah and Mane get older or midfield gets older. You buy every year. You buy one player or two players to fit into your system for the next season, and that's where the money has killed us, I think. But yeah, when the Super League came up, that was the day I decided FSG out for me, because it was just about money for them then.
Yeah. I think when obviously the Super League, well, potentially, thankfully, it didn't happen, but
not yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I couldn't believe it. I mean, Steve, I think I was on a show with you, and I think it was like announced, and that was then sort of, we were like, this isn't right. This isn't right, because something was brewing, and I think the fact that they tried to take our beloved football club into a Super League where you'd be playing the same teams like over and over and over again, it just didn't sound very, very good. When were you FSG out? Was it the Super League?
It was not only the Super League but the furlough as well. I just think when you look at it now, we got to 3 Champions League finals. Obviously, that would have generated quite a bit of money. We still sell shirts on a daily basis as well, so we're making money on shirt sales. For me, I just don't know where all the money's gone. And like Alan said there, it's like we panic really more than anything else. It's when you look back, we only really signed Diaz because obviously Tottenham were going to get him and we wanted him for the summer, so that was rushed through. Obviously, we've only really signed Cody Gakpo because we've got an injury crisis with Luis Diaz and Jota out. So I just don't get it. Most teams each year strengthen. When we won, I think it was either the Champions League or the Premier League, we got Sepp van der Berg, and I think we got Adrian on a free. I think we spent not even £2 million in a summer transfer window. It's just not good enough. You know what I mean? You've got to when you look at other people's benches, I'm not saying that we have to match Man City for the bench or Chelsea for the bench and stuff, but you want to have that bit of ambition. And when you're looking on the bench that we've had recently, we've got no one to really bring on and try and impact the game and change a game. We've got injuries, but when that investment's not been in the squad, and you just have to think, where's all this money going? Where's all this money gone? So for me, I think it was both the Super League and the furlough for me that they got decisions massively wrong.
And to that argument, Steve, as well, I've been battling this today in the comments on on my videos. People were like, "Oh, but we went on a run, and that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. We can't just stop. Like, I think we won our 24 out of 26 games. That sounds. That sounds if you want to live in the past.
Exactly.
But we want a consistent run of titles and titles. Not this notion of, oh, look back and we've won one. We've won 19 league titles, won 6 European clubs. That's history sounds. We best part of 28, 29 years. We lived in the past in the Premier League era. We've got to deal in the here and now. But frustrating.
True. It is frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But I suppose another thing that they tried to do, Ricky, was trademark Liverpool. Now, that's a big no-no in anyone's eyes.
I mean, it's FSG. I don't know what people expected of these people after putting people on furlough, or trying to put people on furlough. It's just like, this season needs to end. The summer needs to come up, and we just need to see what them Cowboys are doing, because it's just I'm sick and tired of it. I'm seeing people, like Liverpool fans, are fighting each other on social media because you've got people that support FSG more than they support Liverpool Football Club now, which is sickening. Listen, I'll fight every top red on social media, going back and forth, talking all day, every day about why they shouldn't be at the club, but it's just, unless something drastically happens, I don't think they want to sell. They do not want to sell. They just want someone to come in and finance them, buy all the players for them, and while they just sit back and take all the rewards for it. We win the league title after someone spent 200 mil for us in the summer. They'll take the credit for winning the league because it's their club. I believe they don't want to sell to the Far East. I think they want to sell it to their mates, really. Todd Bowley is worth less money than John Henry, and yet Todd Bowley's going on an absolute mad one, spending all sorts of cash. And all I want is for Jurgen Klopp to have an extra 60 mil or something.
Chelsea will be liquidated soon, last sort of sound.
Mate, listen, I just want 60 to 70 million extra a summer for Jurgen Klopp to go out and get a midfielder that can run 10 yards without passing out or losing his legs like we've got at the minute. But I do believe they won't sell us. And it could get scarier where they use Liverpool Football Club as leverage to get a loan to buy this, to finance this NBA team they want to do with LeBron James in Vegas. They could use this as leverage in the banks against that, alone against this. And that could get really, really, really scary if that don't come off.
It's just worrying thinking, like, yes, they have put us up for sale, but the problem is, Jersey Boy, they have probably 12 times their money.
They have made a lot of money, and in terms of, they bought us for not much money, and now it's worth nearly 4.5 billion, which is a ridiculous amount of money in the first place. I'm the same as Ricky. I really don't buy this they're selling. From what I believe, they want someone to buy shares in Liverpool, because you've got to remember, Redbird bought shares in Fenway Sports Group, not Liverpool. So that covers everything. So that has nothing to do with Liverpool. I have to ask some questions though. Like we've had this huge Nike deal, which apparently is one of the biggest ones. Where is the money for that? Where is the money? Second of all, I was quickly going to mention, for me, talking about when I started with FSG, was that summer we won the was it no, sorry, it was before we won the Premier League. I get it, we won it by 99 points and stuff like that. But normally when you win something as big as the Champions League, you go, I'm going to get the next best thing, I'm going to get something else. We bought Harvey Elliott, we bought Adrian, and we bought Sepp van der Berg. No big top 6 club does that after winning a Champions League.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's really, really is at a weird point right now, but I really, really don't believe they're going to sell. You know, you've got Todd Bowley spending a lot of money at Chelsea, but they've got a consortium over there. I think they've got a Swiss billionaire over there as well, helping Todd Bowley out with the money and stuff like that. But I literally feel that FSG will stay till people protest, because I don't believe I think they will sell if they get like a ridiculous amount of money. I'm talking like probably, let's say they said they're going to sell for 4 billion. I think they might try and reach out for 5, which I think is ridiculous, because I think that's kind of the money that Man United will go for. So
yeah. I think you've said it spot on there. And as well, I think Manchester United, Man United have had the Glazers since 2005.
Yeah.
And every single year they've been taking money out of the club. So you can understand, like from a Manchester United point of view, that you really want the Glazers gone. But at least FSG haven't sort of bled the club dry, have they?
Well, it's kind of, they have taken the money out. Let's call it that way, right? So they have taken money out. I'll be upfront, and I've never cared. They've definitely taken money out of the club. Let's say that. But look, I've never. Let's go. I didn't care about FSG over the last 10 years, as long as Rodgers and Klopp were backed. As long as I seen something happening on the pitch, you know. When Rodgers didn't do his job in the end, he was let go. Klopp came in and completely elevated us another 10 levels up from what, you know. I know Rodgers came close in one season, but Klopp has been coming close every season, or he's been winning stuff, you know, in those seasons. So even in a season where we didn't have any defenders, Jurgen Klopp took this team and brought us up to third with 2 young fellas playing in the back line, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm a Jurgen Klopp man, because I think Jurgen Klopp embodies everything that Stevie G embodied about the club, everything that Jamie Carragher fought for on the pitch. I think he's got the same passion as the lads and the same love for this club and its fans. So I'm going to get that out of the way straight away. With regards the Super League and stuff like that, all these Americanisms that they try to do, where there's no relegation, which means that teams like West Ham, all of these other teams will never have a chance to get into this league, is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. No. On the opposite side to that, the money that the Super League was going to invest was going to be 3 times the amount of grassroots football was ever going to see. So on the positive side, it was a better overall idea. But if they took out that Americanism of never being relegated, you know, the untouchable really, then you probably would have had a fairer mindset in what we think is football is all about, but with more investment into the lower leagues and you know, development of players and stuff like that. So there was pluses and minuses, but yeah, they're Americans, you know. So let's call it, they're Americans. They want to make money. They're going to try and make it the most elitist bullshit you're ever going to see in your life, and they're going to make sure that there's a constant flow of cash going back their way. So yeah, for me that was a turning point for me as well with FSG. I mean when I was saying the apology video earlier, I wasn't on about the one for I didn't care about the one for the Super League. I was on about the time when they were raising the prices and they were going to try and make it, was it £77 a ticket?
Oh, 77. Do not get me started over that.
Yeah. So that was disgusting in its own way as well. But I said at least they came out at the start, learned the lesson, and said and did it publicly. Nobody else did. Arsenal owners haven't done it. All of that. What about the Super League? There's no excuse for that. That elitist bullshit is never going to. They could do a 40-minute video from the heart and it still wouldn't make a difference to me. Elitism in football, there's no place for it. So it needs to always have a fair playing ground, from Stevenage to bloody Liverpool, from Manchester United always down to Accrington Stanley. You know, it has to be. It has to be able to. Who would I? And it has to be able to be fair on the pitch and the likes of that, right? So up until that point, I've never really cared about what FSG did, as long as I appreciated that they did what they did, where they balanced the books a bit or got in this investment or whatever like that. But I'm at the point for the last 2 or 3 seasons now where I've turned from in the middle to FSG out. Not like, oh, I'm going to kill the FSG out. I mean, I can see where you're going, and you're going to end up having a legacy like Hicks and Gillette, where you're just going to benefit from all the dividends of every investment that comes in. The money they're going to make money off each and every single one of those, and it's not going to be just put back into the club. Now, with regards to the Nike deal, we're at 225 million at the moment. That's after coming in from that supposed deal, and I'd like to know where that's gone. If Access paid for the training ground, and FSG apparently have used Liverpool money to go straight into to developing Anfield Road end, which for me is it really 6,000 or 7,000 seats, or is it really 3,500 seats and the rest are corporate seats? So that's that. Yeah. So I'm at this point where I've always been on the balance where I like what FSG have done with regards to balancing our us as a club, where we have no worries kind of financially about going out of business anymore, where there has been some sort of investment. But I have noticed over the last 4 or 5 transfer windows as well, the very limited amount of transfers that are coming in, and they're very I've noticed all the time that they are a sell to buy. I know, but it's coming to the point now where we're winning things. We're always just a point behind City in the league. We've lost 2 Champions League finals. We've won the Champions League final. We've won the league, and I'm like, surely you're seeing that we need that extra bit. There has to be that extra 250 mil put into the club. I'm talking wages wise and players wise, like put into the club, so that, and I mean that all inclusively. I don't mean just go out and buy 250 million worth of this. I just mean invest in the right players and bring them in. But they window on window, and it's just never been done the last few seasons, and that's where I'm at this point of. For me, the furlough thing, I didn't know if that's what I was asking earlier. I didn't know if it happened or they were just inquiring about it. But either way, it's shitty. There's no way about it. I just wanted to make sure, but it's for me, I'm at the stage now where it's FSG out, and with Man United being up for sale at the same time, we could miss out on potentially some of the better owners that are out there if they go for United, but also United could just be turned into another Manchester City because of the status that they have and the mindset. Yeah, and that's the mindset.
Once they get their house in order.
Yeah. So once with the size of that club and the way it is, I know they need a lot of work done in the stadium, but I mean that's going to be pennies for an owner if they come in like City's owners. So I'm at the point of like, who are these new owners going to be? I know there's all this human rights stuff and this and that, but let's call a spade a spade. There's no way that Glazers haven't had human rights issues. There's no way FSG down the line through the multitude of companies have had this kind of thing. So for me, it has to be the right owners for the club. It just can't be the absolute, let's say, devils in disguise when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because everybody's had bad things in the back of their closet. But I just wanted to be kept out of my football club, and I want them to be shadow owners that just back Jurgen Klopp. Just shut up, stay in the back row. I want to forget who the owners are. I don't care who they're going to be. I just want to forget their name and just know that the top level for me is Jurgen Klopp and whoever he talks to about buying players. I don't even if they come over and show their faces sitting in the stands every so often, I don't want them to be mentioned, in or out. I just come in, invest, and shut your mouth. Simple.
100%. By the way, if anybody needs to go, then please just obviously pop off. I know that Connor's got a show. I know that Spider's got a show at 9 o'clock. But I really do appreciate both of you coming on as well. But one last thing I will ask you, Connor, who would you want to come in now to basically buy the club?
I can see Ricky licking his lip.
Come on, Romano. Let's go, Connor Romano.
I'll buy it, Con, if he wants. I'll put
lad, go off. Just someone with the morals of just supporting the club properly. Obviously, when we're talking about these, the 3.5 billion valuation or 4 billion valuation of Liverpool, it does put us in a very, very small pond. But right now, I would think it would be an investor that comes in. I don't think it's going to be a full sale, unfortunately. But it's just someone that, if it was to be a full sale, someone that comes in, does the right thing. There's no shady background, nothing like that. And then someone that can, have a talk with Jurgen Klopp, and they can, move forward together in the right way and not be, completely opposite of what the fans want and what Jurgen wants. Because Jurgen's one of us when we think about it, and he is a Liverpool fan, and what he wants is what we want. We want to move forward together and be a better club going forward. But it is just the sense of, when you are looking at that high figure, it does put you in a small pond. But for me, I just want someone that can, like Spider said, that can come in. We're not talking about them. We're not making videos about them. We're just talking about the boys and Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello to Ravi. Hello to Brian. Hope you are both are well. Guys, there's 18 of you watching. Please do remember to hit that like button and also subscribe if you are new. We are on the way to 2.5k. Basically, is the next target. Definitely. But I mean, they have probably seen, Owen, probably one of the most sort of successful sort of periods for the club.
They have, in modern times, of course, the only successful period, that had more than a flash in the pan, like the 2005 Champions League win was in retrospect. Although we've done amazing things, and I think the way that we've lost out on big trophies repeatedly in the last few years has been terrible luck more than anything else. I mean, we finished last season winning 12 and drawing 2 of the last 14 Premier League games, right? We won 12, we drew 2, we lost none, and we were still pipped to the title. But, in other years, in the past, before Klopp, and Guardiola, like that would easily win you a league to end the season like that. So the landscape has changed a lot. And I think it's very complex, like I get people are coming to lots of conclusions, about that this is definitely the end. They have to sell up FSG and all that. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want Liverpool to be challenging. How can we get there? I don't think a new owner coming in like Todd Bowley, 304 million they've spent, which is, and Manchester United 196 million this season, right? Since from the summer last year. And so, we need a strategy. If FSG stay, and I'm not saying that I'm for that, because they're blatant capitalism. It doesn't gel with the philosophy of our club, anyway. But if they do stay and they get a lot of investment, that they can invest in the club, in the playing staff, and the coaching staff realize it, and they have a plan where they can rebuild properly. I think it's I think it's their first big test where they're going to have to, like, it's bleedingly obvious. They're going to have to either bankroll a massive rebuild of Liverpool, or they will get hounded out if they continue to spend 60 million a year and recoup as much as they can back. It's no good. So sorry, loads of different things that I've got tons to say on it. I'd say it's complex. I'm on the fence as to whether they should go or not, but I just really want to see us get out of this huge pickle, not just the pickle, but the entire burger that we've fallen into.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very, very interesting what's going to happen over this year. And to be honest, Liverpool and Manchester United both being up for sale is quite extraordinary. I would have to say, Ricky. I know that you are like big FSG out. I think it's been very, very widely noticed on Twitter and social media. But where do you see what's happening to the club now?
I see us falling off a cliff, to be honest.
Oh Christ!
There's a little bit of saving grace when it comes to Champions League from 2024 season. The 5th place then gets Champions League football, so that could help us. But with FSG still in charge after this season going forward and not selling up, you're looking at a top 8 team going forward, because there's going to be no investment. We've let the midfield age disgustingly without investment. Thiago, in the last 4.5 years, the only midfield player coming in. Ox is going, Kate is going, Firmino possibly going. Jones ain't good enough. Elliott's a young kid. Carvalho's a young kid. So there's investment needed, and it's needed now. I would like to see owners, if they do sell, I would like someone to come in who's got enough cash to financially back Klopp and give Klopp the opportunity to go dominate in the Premier League with the right backing.
Yeah.
I want to see Liverpool at the top table for the top players around world football, because we're not there. I'm seeing a lot of Liverpool fans so certain that we're getting Jude Bellingham. They need to wake up and smell the coffee, because that's not happening in a million years, especially without top 4. It would have been a big ask to get him with top 4. Without top 4, you've got no chance. We clearly haven't got the money to go and get Bellingham. FSG are the best in the world at PR spinning. They've done it years and years with Liverpool. And I still stick by the shout I had. Jurgen Klopp walks the end of this season.
You think Klopp goes?
Yeah. You're not seeing Klopp in his interviews. The keys are absolutely. He looked so deflated. Before the World Cup, there was talk about investment coming in. He looked giddy. He looked excited. He looked fresh. Well excited that there was future investment coming. He even said the future of this club looks so bright with the investment. After the World Cup, he looked like he'd gone 10 rounds with someone. Today, he looked like he wanted to have it out with, is it Cole, the press guy? For me, he walked at the end of the season, and there's going to be so many job offers on the table for him to come and take. Why would he stay at a sinking ship? It's like you've got Chelsea.
We won't get better than Jurgen Klopp, Ricky, in our model.
No, we won't. And then it will expose what this club really is. Once Klopp goes, he's going to expose FSG for what they really are, because Klopp's been working. Like, I'm seeing people saying, "Oh, Klopp ain't worked miracles." You're having a laugh. Go watch what Liverpool were before Klopp come and what Liverpool are when Klopp here now. He goes, we're going to get some donut coming in charge, probably Pep Linders. Pep Linders even come out the other day and said that he's only ever going to be an assistant to Jurgen Klopp. Once Jurgen Klopp retires, he's going to be the manager of somewhere. So he suits FSG down to a T, Linders. But with Klopp gone, you might as well just call it a damn pack up and just watch City dominate with Newcastle. Man United are going to get bought out by the Far East, and they're going to be pounding loads of money into that squad. They're going to get the house in order, like Jack said. They're going to dominate as well. That's 3 teams. Arsenal outspend us now. Wolves outspend us now. Southampton spend more money than us. West Ham spend more money than us. Mate, it's going to be a few dark years that are coming for this team if we don't get the right people in charge now.
But if they don't, if that happens, sorry to butt in there, but if that happens and Klopp walks, and I totally get it, and I think you're right, if FSG don't invest anymore, if they continue doing what they're doing, then he may well do it, because I absolutely agree. If you look at his body language, he does look upset. But if that happens, FSG surely know that there'll be a hell of a mutiny on their hands.
They'll be chased out, Owen.
They'll be chased out. And at the end of the day, because they're, rampant capitalists, that will equal them losing their cash cow or one of their biggest cash cows. So that's not in their sort of interests to do that.
It's
So
not.
hopefully, I'm only speculating here, but hopefully they can see that the writing's on the wall and they have to change their.
But they have no
their
cash.
model.
They have no cash.
Okay, well they can sell the Penguins or whatever they bought,
So yeah, that's another thing. The Penguins, the Boston Red Sox, and whoever else they've got, they're all struggling in their respective sports financially.
Yeah,
in
they
the
are.
league, the Penguins are bottom half of the NHL, and they want to go do mate. Listen, FSG in this night deal, we're talking about LeBron James, Drake, Serena Williams, all going to come to merchandising stuff with Liverpool Football Club. We've seen LeBron James's trainers come out; they're awful. I don't think anyone's.
Don't get me
bought a pair of
started
them.
on the kit, Ricky.
And this shirt, Jack, this shirt,
that shirt is
something that belongs in my toilet.
absolutely awful.
Looks like
That-
I done
if
9
it-
paints in year 7 or
If
something.
anybody has seen that shirt, like, it is just not worth buying whatsoever.
Look, that
It
sounds
is
Stevie
horrible.
Wonder made.
It's awful. Absolutely awful.
And that's going to go get us Jude Bellingham by selling them LeBron shirts.
Oh dear.
Aye.
You
Like
gotta look
that's
at-
it.
You got to look at it another way as well, lads. Even though a lot of people are saying on
Sorry,
side,
boys. 3-1
yeah.
lovely. What a
even though everybody's on about that Liverpool aren't that type of club to buy or sell or even need the money. Like as one of the other lads even said it, I've said it 100 times myself. Look what Klopp has done on the budget that he's had. But imagine if he had that money that the Pep Guardiola had. Imagine if he had that money that all these other teams are getting. How far in front could Liverpool actually be from these other teams? And it would show, Klopp did it without the money by staying within a point of Pep Guardiola, also winning a title off him, also winning the Champions League, getting to 2 Champions League finals, winning the World Club Championship, winning the Super Cup, and
Spider,
the 2
question.
domestic trophy. Yeah.
Does Pep win the league with the Liverpool squad?
No.
I don't
No.
think he does.
No, I think he finishes 8th or 9th, 10th. I think so.
No.
I don't think. I think they'll have a massive struggle season. I think Pep's demands are too strong with no pocket.
Yeah.
I think he because he's been such a luxury manager, being in teams that would pay for whatever he wanted. I don't think he would do the same as what Klopp did. I mean, Klopp brought Mainz up from obscurity. He won. He beat Bayern Munich and the likes of them, with RB Leipzig coming in with all that money as well, with Borussia Dortmund to 2 titles in a row back to back, and a cup. So Jurgen Klopp studies teams. This is the man that goes at the start of every game and stands and looks at the opposition and not his own team, because he already knows what his own team can do. He just sees any differences in what way they're training, and then he knows what way they're going to play in the game. And we haven't seen much of that lately because he's too busy worrying about his own team, to be honest with you. So,
sorry there, boys. I'm just envisioning Jordan Henderson playing in a Pep Guardiola system. Christ almighty. You're more James Milner. Like, you'd have Guardiola. He's already got no way, but he'll probably wear a wig after it or something like that. It's
I mean, Steve, the one thing I think that we've been sort of criticised, I think as well, when we were winning things, we hardly invested in the squad. Now, because if you look back at the Champions League season, we only signed Adrian and we only signed Vandenberg. When we won the Premier League, I don't think we signed many people either. I can't honestly remember, but I mean, they have backed Klopp to an extent. Salah, Mane, like Alisson, Van Dijk, like those kind of players who have come in and they've done very, very well. But is that glaring message that the midfield has been neglected time and time again?
Yeah, like I say, one midfielder in 9 transfer windows is just not good enough. And there was a quote that was saying the other day: the issue isn't with Klopp but the players themselves. If you look, and I know Ricky slated the man himself, Gini Wijnaldum, who's his favourite player, but in all seriousness, we haven't replaced Gini Wijnaldum, to be honest. I mean, if you look when we went our prime, we had Salah, Mane, and Bobby Firmino. They all pressed from the front. Gini was the first one to press from midfield. You had Trent and Robbo who would press their right and left backs. We just don't do that anymore. Look at the goal that Leicester City scored from a simple goal kick from Danny Ward. It's knocked on by Daka, and then a player runs 40 yards and just taps it in. It's just the players' legs have absolutely gone, and the midfield, there's no doubt that they have been neglected. And like I say, we only sign players when we've got an injury crisis. I mean, the likes of Alisson and Van Dijk more than likely wouldn't have been bought if we didn't sell Coutinho. Obviously, Mane and Salah were bought for 30 million a piece. So it's not big money in this day and age now. So for me, the midfield. I mean, if anyone can see that there's a massive crisis with that midfield, and their legs have gone. They just can't. They can't play the way that maybe Jurgen Klopp's expecting now. So that in itself says you need to change.
Where's the Tuchemini money?
That went on Nunes, didn't it?
Jurgen himself didn't seem to want anyone in the summer, and you can understand it given the form that I was talking about earlier with of last season. But now that it's so bloody obvious to everyone that they can't run anymore. The ones that he's looking to still play in the same way. So isn't it like a dereliction of duty that there weren't like 2 or 3 midfielders lined up in the first week of January? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Nunes money as well, obviously we're recuperating quite a bit of that back as well. I mean, even if he hits all the bonuses, etc., it's 84 million if he hits everything. We sold Mane for 35 to 40 million. We sold Divock, we sold Taki. So we've got pretty much 60 million. So it only works out that we spend 20 million. It's like you say, we haven't replaced that money. It's very, very frustrating when you see other teams going out and buying players. Like Wolves have just signed 3 or 4 players today alone. It's not good enough when you see a club like Liverpool Football Club. We need to be keeping with the times, and it's like roles reversal. We're like what Arsenal were 3 or 4 seasons ago. We're becoming a bit of a laughing stock, which is hard to take for a club of our size, really.
Yeah. Doug. We haven't learned from 2 seasons ago when we lost our centre backs. That day we left to the last day of the season to go and buy Kabak and
in the January transfer window.
And what was his name?
Ben Davies.
Davis. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name earlier on. You said it, but we haven't learned from that. The first day of this transfer window, we should have had 2 midfielders in, whether they were the ones we wanted or whether they're just going to be 2 workhorses. Because I agree with Statman there. Gini, the first time I came on a podcast was Owen's podcast, was when Gini left, and I emailed Owen because I was peed off because I didn't think Gini got the credit he deserved.
Yeah.
But we have not replaced Gini, and to me 100%. That's where it started. Like Gini was like Mo Salah, plays every game and doesn't get injured. And when you lose him is when certain people realised how good he was and what he did for us. But the other thing as well, lads, is like you've all said there that when Klopp walks or whatever, the fans are going to go mad. I think the fans should be going mad now. I think there should be protests now at the stadium.
I heard there's going to be protests. I've heard.
Good.
I heard there's going to be protests tomorrow. Whether or not that's true or not, it's a different thing. But
I hope so. So because FSG have had a free ride because Klopp is so popular. If Klopp walks out of us, like you lads are right, we're on a cliff edge.
There's no one better.
Yeah, there's no one better.
No one better who can replace him right now. I mean, if you look at the managers that potentially are available, there's no one of higher caliber that could replace Jurgen Klopp. That's what worries me. If he does walk, and I hope he doesn't, but if he does walk, it's just what sort of
it's just
place
a
are we going to be in? It's worrying. It really is.
Point, boys, as well. Obviously, the view from social media. Obviously, we're on YouTube tonight, and it hasn't really trickled through to the fan base. The amount of times I've been to Anfield this season, in all honesty, I don't know what it's going to take. I think it will, similar when Shankly left. I know obviously social media wasn't around then, but you had those videos, documentaries of people more or less crying when they heard Shankly left the football club. Because they were shocked at how much everyone loved him. But we've seen Jurgen Klopp today, boys. We've all seen the interviews, the whole interview as well. And there's going to come a point where he's going to be like, can I be asked? In all honesty, as much everyone loves Liverpool Football Club, but Jurgen Klopp, he's going to be going home every single night to his wife Ula and his kids as well. And there's going to come a breaking point in reality where, and even if Liverpool are winning or losing, it doesn't really matter. Like it's what mental state Jurgen Klopp is going to be in, because he's like our dad. In reality, we love Jurgen Klopp to bits, and of course, people will go. Obviously, Jurgen takes criticism, but he listens as well, and he knows that himself fundamentally. But I don't know what it's going to take, because I don't think it's fully transitioned yet. I think when people say, "Oh, you're going to do a protest at the stadium," it's probably someone on Twitter that really would never really dream about going to very much Anfield and getting 5,000, 10,000 people. As I said, it's going to be difficult. But
it is.
I don't want to obviously ruin anyone's parade, but I have just seen news that Chelsea are in talks with PSV Eindhoven over a potential deal to sign winger Noni Madiyuki. So that's another sort of 30, 40, 50 million. I mean, Todd Bowley's playing like Football Manager in FIFA.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. This is the kind of thing we're up against.
Yeah,
like we're not going to spend 100 million on a player.
It's not going to get any better as well, though. That's just in chat.
No,
as we've already alluded to tonight, it's the Premier League. We already spoke about the Super League. Premier League's been the Super League for the best part of 20 years. Look at Abramovich, United spending money. Like, that's why the Bundesliga, Ligue 1, the Italian leagues, they're all sitting there going, "Oh, sound." Even the Portuguese league, they're like, "Christ, you're paying £80 million for our player. We'll have some of that." And it's mad.
Yeah, I mean, it is the thing, but now we're sort of going to go into sort of who we potentially want to sort of come in, and Seamus exactly what has happened to financial fair play. That is very true.
Never existed. FSG just thought it existed. FSG are financial fair play.
They are the regulators.
Yeah, but
just get a good lawyer in it, boys. That's what these big companies do.
I mean, I'm going to ask like a very, very serious question now. Where do we think we finish this season? Jersey boy, I'm going to start with you. Where do you think we finish?
First of all, before we go there, I want to quickly mention this is from CF Bayern, who are quite reliable, right? I don't know where this has come. I don't know where this has come from. It's been years we haven't had money, but apparently we've got 250 million euros to spend in the summer. When have we ever had that?
I will believe it when I see it, mate.
I don't believe it.
Out every year, mate.
£250 more, like.
It's always the same. It's next summer, 250 million, and then
it's just manana, isn't it? That's all it is.
When we after we won the no, I think we only buy like the only 2 summers I've seen when we're like, oh my god, is when we were signed Thiago, Jota, and I can't remember who else we signed on that summer.
Simicast, yeah.
That was it. And then when you got Alisson, Keita, all the other summers have been dead. Like we got Kanate, we only got Kanate, even though everyone was abusing Fabrizio Romano, going, give us news, and there was nothing. But about who we get next, where do we think we end this season? This is really difficult. I've said this from the beginning of the season. We will not get Champions League or Europa League football if we do not get a midfielder. I don't care what midfielder it is. It has to be a midfielder who hasn't got dead legs. There are
dead legs. Jesus Christ!
I don't buy this. That it has to be the right player. There are hundreds of midfielders out there for the right price. There's some in the French league. There's some in the Bundesliga you could get for 20 to 30 million. There's one I think right now in the French league who's actually looks quite good. and you're getting it for about 30 million euros.
For that minute. Yeah.
So
Is that Thuram? Is it Kevin Thuram?
that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not about we have to get the right player. But sometimes you have to take a risk. We don't take enough risks. And the problem is, if we're going to wait so long to get the right person, that person's going to go. We waited so long to get Tchouaméni. He wanted to go to Real Madrid. What did? We said, "Oh fuck, we're not getting anyone else." There's probably other midfielders that people need to scout. Like, let's think of it like a lot of people talking about Enzo Fernandez, right?
Mm-hmm.
People going, "Oh my god, we spent 150 million." Why didn't we and other clubs go and try and sign him for when he was getting sold for 13 million? Not 120 million, but 13 million. And that's the problem. I think we've got to get better scouts because our scouting at the moment is atrocious. I think a lot of our players has been, Jota, Pep Linders, Klopp even won Salah when he wanted Julian Brandt from Dortmund. So we need to get this scouting fixed because I really do think there are midfielders out there who maybe Klopp might not like, but they will do the job. And I think if we don't get a midfielder, we will get Conference League. So be prepared because we're going to go play against Wi-Fi passwords in Antarctica at -30 degrees.
Yeah. Owen, where are we finishing?
With or without Alisson Becker, will he pick up another injury? Because he's the one that's stopping us from being about 15th this season. If Alisson stays fit, we'll probably maybe get somewhere between 10th and 6th, assuming we don't sign any midfielders or anyone else this window. But yeah, because I mean, we've got a one-man midfield. Thiago's doing absolutely everything. No one else is contributing. So yeah, I don't know if they don't fix that, as I said before, bleedingly obvious problem, then I don't know. Yeah, but I would say, I'm going to stick my neck out and say 9th.
9th.
Which would be great. No Europe next season.
I was going to say, if Alisson gets injured, I think we should all just get the surrender flags up because I think we'll probably be where West Ham are if we didn't have Alisson.
Could well happen.
I can't even imagine.
Alisson is player of the season by a long, long way.
Oh yeah,
100%. 100%. Alan, where are we finishing? Do you think?
I'd be somewhere between what Owen said there. I'd be thinking between 8th and 10th, unless we get, as everybody else said, unless we get 2 midfielders at least. Don't care who they are. It's okay having players you want like Bellingham and stuff, but one player is not going to fix our midfield. We need at least 2. I think Owen has said it several times: 30-40 million pound players and a Bellingham. So unless we get them 2 30-40 million pound players, I'd say 8.
Yeah, I think I don't want that to happen, but the last thing I want is to be in that bloody Conference League playing against teams like Astana FC, etc. Jack, I know you're Mr. Optimistic, and I know you can be pessimistic sometimes, but where do you think we're finishing?
It tells you a lot when I haven't listened to everyone, but I've got Napoli in the background and you play much better football than watching them. I am starved of actually seeing a good Liverpool side start playing. But yeah, they're winning 5-1, if anyone's interested anyway.
5-1?
Yeah, against
Tuesday.
Osimhen's absolutely wiped the floor with them tonight. And what a player he's going to be. United.
Holy wow.
200 million they'll buy him for. But yeah, I'd agree with the lads. 7th to 10th. In all honesty, I think I might have to pull my early season prediction show before the rivals get to it. I went first. I was naive. I
did.
Very naive.
Same.
I thought we'd do well, but this season has been a massive reality check for me and probably quite a lot of us, and even the players for that matter, in all honesty. And hopefully Jurgen Klopp does wake up in the next 6 months. But yeah, 7th to 10th, mate. And I think anything less, then there's going to be a massive investigation into that. from every aspect of the football club.
Yeah. Ricky?
10th to 12th.
10th to 12th. Jeez.
I mean, you've
Spider?
got no Van Dijk. It's shocking.
That's true.
Van Dijk's been man in a match for the opposition team for a couple of weeks now. So.
I said it since last season. I said we're after playing the most games in the history of any team in the EPL, and I was saying that if we were to go and do a first next season, that would be the most miraculous thing I've ever seen. But because no team has ever done that, nobody's ever had the fitness levels of doing that. Getting back to first after playing every single possible game that was available to any one team. And to do that. So I said, obviously, because of the quality within the team, third, with the injuries and stuff like that, I'm being a bit more pessimistic, but I still do believe that with Jurgen Klopp as a manager and the fact that we had Phillips and Reece as defenders, and still got the third in that season, I'm still optimistic that Jurgen can put a run of games together. If he can just get the right midfield working right, or if he can just twiddle the formation a small bit. So I'm going to try and be a bit more optimistic than you guys. I still think we can get top 4 if we just get those running games together. Even if it's a run of winning 4 or 5, a draw, maybe a loss, and another 3 or 4. I think that's better stats than you're probably going to see from one or two of the other teams that are going for top 4, as in Spurs. I think they'll drop off a bit. I can't see United keeping up that pace. Newcastle haven't been proven in that area yet, no matter how good they're playing. I still think they can end up 5th or 6th. So for me, if I'm going from the optimistic side of things, I'm back in Jurgen Klopp, no matter what the injuries we have. We didn't have Virgil van Dijk when we got third in that season. The midfield is the issue, but as long as we can keep the 3 lads fit in the defense for at least a good run of 10-game period, I think we can rotate well and shore up that defense a bit more. But Thiago does need help in the midfield. We gotta stop. I love Harvey Elliott and stuff like that, but we gotta stop playing these players for a few games and just shore up with a more. I've said it for 2 seasons. Can somebody please put Trent Alexander-Arnold into midfield, please? He's the perfect replacement for Jordan Henderson on the right hand side. He's playing there anyway.
Yeah.
He's the best passer that we have in the team. It'll alleviate that. He already knows what it's like to be a defender, so he can cover any defender that comes in. Even if you put Joe Gomez there or Ramsey there, he can cover any of them, and you'll probably see more defensive work ethic from him just being in front of them, as you would have when Jordan Henderson was in his prime doing it. So for me, I'm optimistic that if Jurgen Klopp can get the lads playing in the right formation in the right way, and he can just click it, because I mean we're just going off one loss. I get the results that we had in November were good enough. The start of the season was terrible, but I think that was the hangover that we had from the previous season. I still think it's there, but if you can just get the right lads playing the right way and get a run of games together, a run of wins together, hopefully top 4. If not, I do not want to be playing in any conference league. I'd rather finish 10th or 11th if I'm honest with you, and call it a dead season. I don't want to be looking at any of these leagues next season. I'd rather have a fresh run at the Premier League and the domestic cups, and then say, right, yeah, okay, so we did the right thing, kind of, dropping off a bit. I think that the lads would do that themselves if they knew they couldn't reach top 4, to be honest, because I don't think anybody wants to play in that shite.
Yeah,
would you
absolutely.
Would you say, Spider, or chat lads as well? If Liverpool, I think the pressure will very much crank up if Liverpool do get eliminated out of the Champions League, because that is our favourite competition. It depends how we get beat by Real Madrid as a fan base. Then we will see the trees in reality. Because if we get eliminated by Real, or hopefully we don't, because we want to win it, but not being naive to say that. It's how you get beat, I'd say, against Real. Or if there's a couple of, I'm very surprised, boys, that we've not been absolutely slapped by certain teams this season. There's a couple of Aston Villa performances in this year, and that's when I think a lot of the section of the fan base, or small minority, will very much go in the right way of like going, not at Klopp, but as the football club, like what has happened in reality.
you're saying then, if we get an absolute pasting tomorrow, next week is going to be very, very toxic on the lead up to the Chelsea game. Because if we get because listen, we are getting battered tomorrow. And listen, I can't see nothing but a smashing. So
I've gone 3-1. I've gone 3-1, even though with no Trossard. I think that Mitoma, he's going to run rings around our midfield.
Mitoma's a better player. Anyway, Steve, where are we finishing?
Like I say, if we don't sign any midfielders, then for me it's looking towards sort of 7th to 10th. I'd love to be a bit more optimistic. Obviously, you're looking at the other scale, we're 7 points behind Newcastle in 3rd position with a game in hand. But for me, we're just too far off the pace, to be honest. So for me, I'd say between 7th and 10th if we don't sign a midfielder. At least one, if not two.
Well, as everyone knows, I'm the most optimistic one. I agree with Spider says. I think Spurs will drop off because Spurs are Spurs.
StreamYard's playing up a bit tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, they're not playing tonight. No, I think they're playing Arsenal on Sunday. I think it is.
Yeah, Spurs Arsenal Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still 1-0 Aston Villa, by the way. Chat. I have just seen that as well. Bailey with the only goal.
Ryan's going to be chuffing tonight, seeing Leon Bailey scoring.
Spider, did you say the StreamYard playing up or did Spurs playing?
I don't know.
Was it StreamYard?
It's really laggy for me.
I think everyone thought you said Spurs.
It went off for me before.
I thought you said Spurs fans tonight.
No, StreamYard. It's all right.
StreamYard,
yeah. StreamYard are 10-0 up against Liverpool's reserves. Wouldn't surprise me.
StreamYard is playing for the moment, yeah.
But yes, as I was saying, it is still 1-0 to Aston Villa. Leon Bailey with a goal after 3 minutes. But apparently Leeds are pushing for an equaliser as well. So we'll obviously need to wait and see.
And Villa above us, probably.
No, who made above us at the minute?
Yeah, but
Chelsea are playing that bad as well, boys. Yeah, we can't laugh at Everton or Chelsea this season because we're just as bad.
It's like, we can laugh at Everton. Come on.
I can't wait for next weekend. It's going to be the Crapsico. Not the Classico, the Crapsico. It's going to be nil.
No, Chelsea beat us
teams. And we're just going to be
Chelsea.
Boring game ever.
I mean, how funny was it? How funny was it that Joe Felix got sent off on his debut?
That was such a disgusting tackle as well.
It was quite a Joe Cole. Wait, well.
I mean, this is not Atletico Madrid, pal. It's Chelsea. You need to be. I suppose you probably get away with that challenge and obviously the La Liga and all this nonsense, but just shocking tackle. And now it's basically you have to say as well that now he's gone from being a 6-month loan deal to now a 5-month loan deal because he is now banned until February the 11th. So Chelsea basically give him the number 11 shirt, and now he's banned until February the 11th. It's quite hilarious. Apparently, if Villa score another couple of goals, apparently they will put Chelsea down to 11th.
Wow. 3 points off us as well, boys. And we've got games in hand.
3 points, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Doug, by the way, you forgot that red card has also cost Chelsea 2.2 million. So they're
2.2 million from that.
They're going to have to pay 2 million for him doing nothing.
Could be worse. You could pay 5.5 million for Arthur Melo to be on. Only played 2 minutes against Napoli in Europe.
2 minutes, 2 minutes against Napoli.
Great 2 minutes, though, weren't they, Ricky? Brilliant.
Yeah, he went forward instead of backwards like Hendo.
Clearly better than our midfielders.
Gary,
that run around from Melo, I don't know why it is, but I don't know if you've seen that dude on TikTok that runs around with the big ass. Do you ever see him in the shorts? Yeah. That's just all that reminded me of when I seen him after those 2 months. Was just the way he was running around, and he was just like robot. Like there's a good player there. There's a good player there to Miller, man. There really is. It's just that car accident has kind of left him a bit injury prone, to be honest with you. But what's new about Liverpool buying injury prone players in recent years? Do you think we learned our lesson from Sturridge? We haven't. So
no, we haven't.
Get Jude, and he'll be done for 5 years, like Naby.
Oh Christ! Don't say that. Jesus Christ! That's the last thing I want to hear from anybody to do. Honestly, Jude Bellingham new is a pipe dream. I'm sorry, but he is. I agree with Ricky. I agree with Ricky. I think it's a pipe dream. I mean, are we seriously going to spend 150 million on one player? Like, honestly, I just cannot see it. And this is the thing with FSG as well. That the thing with FSG is that they ain't going to spend that amount of money on one player. There's just no way.
I don't think any player is going to be going that kind of money. I think John Marco was hyped up when it happened with Neymar and Coutinho and what's his name, Mbappe. And I think they're the only type of players that have ever gone for that kind of money. And in recent seasons, I haven't seen anybody really going for that money. When you look at the deal with Erling Haaland, he only went for 64 million to Man City. Plus, yeah, he's got a high wage bill and there's add-ons. But I think the package has to benefit the player now rather than the actual sale, especially coming out of Germany. I don't think they're being bought for too much. So I think like Jude Bellingham was brought in for whatever money he was. They'll want to make a profit on him. So I can see him probably going for similar to Lukaku or Pogba money. But I can't see him going for 150 million because I don't think many teams will afford it besides City and PSG really. Real Madrid can't afford that either.
Yeah, there is another goal. There is another goal at Villa Park, and it is 2-0 Aston Villa. So it looks like the 3 points are heading to Villa Park.
Bailey again. Bailey assisting, I think.
Bailey again. Wow.
Bailey shot.
Wendy has scored out, but I think Bailey assisted. Ryan's going to be really, really happy about that.
Oh, I can definitely imagine that. So the last sort of part of the show that I really wanted to sort of talk about is who is the best player FSG have bought for us? Steve, who is the best player that FSG have bought for us, in your opinion?
Oh, it's a tough one, that. Obviously, you can narrow it down to maybe, for me, there's three for me: Alisson, Van Dijk, and Salah. For me, but it's very, very difficult to choose just one. I'd choose, obviously, for me, the one that saves us the most points in the season. Obviously, Alisson has been a fantastic buy. He really has. We really needed a world-class goalkeeper. Excuse me, after the Karius performance and obviously stuff like that. So I mean, we needed to buy a world-class goalkeeper. We did. We needed to buy a world-class defender, and we did. And we needed to buy a world-class forward as well, and we did with Salah. Obviously, Mane gets a mention as well, but it's difficult. I would narrow it down to maybe them three for me anyway.
Spider.
It's an easy one. Like, I know how much goals Salah scored for us and all of that, but when they've been out, when Van Dijk's been out, in the season that he was out, there's only one person really that saved us, and he's doing it again this season. It's Alisson Becker. Alisson's been the best boy for FSG by a country mile. And like, that's not saying that the rest of the lads aren't as important. They're super important. To what Fabinho's boy was important. All the building that spine really was important. Getting in, Virgil van Dijk, getting in Mo Salah, getting in Fabinho, and building that spine was super important. But there's nobody been as important as Alisson. I mean, he pretty much got us into the Champions League in that season where he scored a goal, and he was saving us non-stop that season as well. So it's been ridiculous. Yeah, he's been outstanding, and like Salah's goals have been super important. At one point he was scoring 40 goals a season, but there's no way anybody's been as good as Alisson Becker in how many points he's won us in a season, how many points he's saved us from losing in a season. On top of it, and how he only made a mistake in the last game as well, but he's always had one of them a year. He did it against Leicester in his first season, I think twice nearly. He did it twice again another season, but look how much he saved us besides that. So I'm not him by country mile.
Yeah, I think Alan.
Goalkeepers union, Doug. Alisson all the way. no team wins anything without world class keeper, and we were lucky to get Alisson. Just world class.
We were very lucky. Ricky?
Yeah, Alisson all day long for me.
Yeah. Jack?
Going to cheat and say Jurgen Klopp. Because it wasn't FSG. That's FSG weren't in the yes, he signed off the checks, but for me it's Jurgen Klopp. Without Jurgen Klopp at the football club, the last 5, 6, 7 year period doesn't happen without him. But I'd say Alisson, yeah, because Christ, as the lads have said, if we didn't have at the back end of last season, jeez, we would.
I have to be honest, right? When we obviously think about the goalkeepers that we have had, I think there's only 2 in the Premier League era which I'm like, yeah, they were very, very good. Reina for about 3-4 seasons, he was amazing. And then I think Alisson Becker. I think the rest have been pretty poor. Mignolet was all right, but the problem with Mignolet, he was very, very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Adam Bogdan, let's not go there. Loris Karius, let's not go there. Diego Cavalieri, Donny.
Said.
Mignolet was a great shot. It was a great penalty saver as well in shot stopper. But my God, how many near post goals did he let in?
He'd be terrified.
Was that Mignolet?
Mignolet, yeah.
Mignolet.
Like a polo at times.
Yeah, like he could save everything across goal. He would save penalties left, right, and centre. He couldn't catch or punch a ball though, and he couldn't save near post.
He's like one of Jack's Pro Club keeper.
Yeah.
That was a better last, surely, just a bit.
Aye, and who was that prick that laughed at the what's his name? Hillsborough. Atonji. Yeah, prick. Jersey boy, who do you think's been the best signing?
I'm the same. It has to be Alisson. You got to remember, it's not only he scored a goal, but also if it wasn't for that save versus, I think it was Milik.
Napoli, yeah.
Oh,
Napoli,
yeah, that save from Milik was fantastic.
We would have not won the Champions League. So, stunning player. Also that, the season when we won the league, I won that ridiculous one, and we were 1 draw away from being Centurions, 1 win away from breaking the record. He was a huge part in us winning that season. And, Alisson, for me, he's just, without him, I literally don't think we would have done anything without Alisson. If he gets injured this season, I'm just gonna make a white flag that says surrender and just wave it around because I would just give up.
We've already been doing that this season, haven't we?
Yeah. Imagine if he gets injured. I like Queeving.
It's all right, lads. You got a Corkman and Queeving Kelleher. They're grand.
Yeah, Queeving.
We're not too bad in that way, And it's great that I don't feel like I'm the only Irishman here.
Obviously not this evening, but I think there will be a time. I think we will have to potentially speak about his potential departure.
Oh, he's gone. He's an FSG money maker, isn't he? He's going to be gone for 25.
I think he is gone. Just very, very quickly, before I say like goodbyes and let everyone shout their channels. I did actually have a poll out for is it time for FSG to leave Liverpool? 87% have said yes, 13% have said no. So I think
in other news, water is wet.
And that poll has been live. That poll's been live for 3 hours, 48 minutes before anyone jumps in and goes, "Oh, you've any?" No, that's very well.
Yeah, exactly. But guys, it's been a fantastic show. I really have enjoyed this, and it's really, really good to see everyone on this show as well. First things first, Stephen Stubbs, Statman Stubbs, whatever you want to call him. Very, very good friend of the show. Very good friend of mine as well. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so Statman Stubbs football channel on YouTube, and on Twitter you can get me at Stephen Stubbs 985. But always a pleasure to come on the channel. Thank you very much to Doug and obviously everyone on the panel as well. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do it all again soon. But cheers, Doug.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Spider, thank you very much for coming on. Tell the people where they can find you.
Right, you can find me on the UB Tubes at Spider LFC, as you can see there in front of
The
you.
UbiTube.
The UbiTube.
I was a bit concerned what
Sorry,
she's
lads.
doing in a
Sorry.
mention there. Like,
It's a modern day thing. I'm so sorry.
It's not
Them
past
two-
watershed just yet, last.
Daytube, yeah. So I have to be very politically correct now and be modern these days. So it's them tube and Daytube. Sorry about that. Listen, you find me on Spider LFC. Later on, straight after this, well, within 45 minutes, I'll be on Irish Spider Guy, and we'll be doing some drunken gaming for the night for the crack, because I've no gigs tomorrow, so I'm getting drunk and I'm gonna laugh at the lads. So you'll find me there. All right, so we'll be good crack. But yeah, lads, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. And I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow for the game, obviously, the same as you guys. But I don't want to steal the thunder on somebody else's channel.
No, don't worry. No, thank you very much for coming on. Ricky, thank you very much for coming on. Tell the people where they can find you.
1892 Reds TV. Better make sure I say that right. Yeah, if you just want to come and vent and let us know what you think about the shit that you're watching at the minute, come over to our show. We're doing I think Luke's doing a match review tomorrow. Jack, he might give you a call for that, but yeah, because I won't be there. But when FSG and Jude come, we'll be having a big celebration on the channel, lads. So come over there and we'll have a party again.
We'll get Jude and get liquidated after this. So.
If we buy Jude Bellingham, right, and I don't think it's a possibility to you, I'm buying mistletoe for Luke and Ricky to put it right over their heads, and the two boys are going full on the channel.
It'd be incest. We're related. It'd be incest.
I don't care.
We're related.
Wax it on. Bit of Vaseline, you'll be grand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Anthony. I know you've said at least Trossard ain't playing, but they've still got Mitoma. They've still got Saicedo. They've still got McAllister. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game anyway. Thank you very much as well to Alan, who made his debut on the channel. A long time coming, I have to say, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. It's great to be on. Good crack, good lads there, and nice to hear everyone's views. Thanks very much for having me on. I don't have any channels or anything. I just an ordinary Joe Soap. Just love Liverpool and had to be on Cop on now and again. So that's just me. Thanks very much.
Nah, no worries. It's been a pleasure. Jack, thank you very much for coming on. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, always a pleasure, mate. It's been a good laugh tonight, boys. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Obviously, it is basically a therapy session every single week for us Liverpool fans. Whether you're in the pub or you're watching at home or even in the stands. But yeah, Anfield Road TV, mate, as I said, I'm debating whether to do a watch along tomorrow, but I know all of us will very much get clipped if we're getting slapped 6-1 on various YouTube channels. So yeah, it's not that I'm out. That's happened plenty of times. Good advertisement anyway. So, but yeah, I'll probably do a post-match reaction show for tomorrow evening, because I think all of us know what the results are going to be. But yeah, massive thank you, mate, for having me on. And boys, hope you have a lovely night and chat. Enjoy it as well.
No worries. Jersey Boy, thank you very much for coming on. I know you've started a new channel as well, but let's tell the people where they can find you.
Of course, yeah. So a new YouTube channel. I've always had different YouTube channels about doing weird type of videos, and I finally started to do a football one. So my new channel is called World of Football, and it's I'm going very TV style, as in like very high end graphics, automatic lineups, all that kind of stuff, watch alongs, that kind of stuff. Yes, you can follow World of Football on Twitter, Jersey Boy Tweets. I also wanted to just say that also on Sunday, I'm launching the first Liverpool podcast. That's going to be very TV style, very professionally done. On Sunday. So if any of you want to get involved, please just tweet me at Jersey Boy Tweets. Everyone on the panel, everyone in the chat, you can always be involved. Just let me know.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's been a fabulous show. Thank you to everyone in the chat, and yeah, to someone who said Indy Callia, I wouldn't trust that page with a barge pole, mate. Would not trust that page with a barge pole.
He works for KFC. Don't trust him.
Don't stay away from my DKs, lads. Stay away from my DKs. Yeah. Don't even listen to them. They haven't got it.
Aye, stay away from me.
It's Connor's second account, isn't it, Con? I'm going to clip this and send it.
Yeah. Also, I've got to say also a big thank you to Owen from Cop On, and also the Connor Niblett from the Cop Council, who is live at the moment. I believe
everyone
as
head
well.
over.
Yeah, please do head over. Basically, everyone who's over here, please go and check out the Cop Council as well. Now, just to tell people what is coming up on the channel, I have decided to do a watch along for the Manchester Derby tomorrow. I'll be doing that about 12 o'clock. So if you want to come and see that game, should be a very interesting game actually, especially with the way both sides are playing recently. United on the up, City on the bit of a down at the moment. Then obviously you can find me on there at 12 o'clock. There might be a post match for Brighton. But I'm obviously not too sure anyway. But obviously, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and also hit that notifications bell so you do not miss an upload on this channel. We are trying to grow this channel. I have been slowly but surely trying to sort of grow it, but I'm sure it will grow eventually. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching the debate show. We should probably do one of these maybe every Friday night, maybe not, but thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. You never walk alone. Cheers, Reds. Bye.